Alright, so first thing, got to figure out how to hold the camera. Do this first. So this piece off, this piece off, and then next I undid these two bolts. It just holds this bracket on like that. Move that out of the way. It allows you to get to your plug here a little bit easier. So just unplug that, and then you get the two. See one there and one right there. Those are 9/16. Take those off. This thing will now come down pretty much when I get the rest of it off. So that's what it should look like, at least inside for right now. I went in, where's the pedal? Yeah, you can see that little pin, which is right here. It has a cotter pin on it. It's where your pedal hooks up to the brake booster. So you just there's this little bracket kind of goes over that 9/16 nut. Loosen that, it'll swing down, and then you can pull that cotter pin and undo the push rod for the brake booster. Got that out. Walk that real quick. And up here, remove the, I guess you don't have to, but I did it because I just wanted less pieces out of the way. So, remove the steering shaft there. So that wasn't that bad. And then eventually have to work on getting all the nuts out for the brake booster. They're all 9/16. Not too bad. I didn't disconnect my lines. My lines were okay enough that I could kind of maneuver it right here, and it's hanging off the hood and sitting on the valve cover, so we got enough room for all that. Then once we're done there is a little retaining plate. There's two nuts here, both 9/16. There's another little retaining bracket kind of goes under that. So once you loosen those nuts and take those off, then you can pull that out, and then this thing will start pretty much flopping around. And then the last thing I did was I went inside and removed the remaining small bolts that hold this. That piece there. Move this wire. There we go. So those are 3/8. There's about 5 of them, I think. That's what it was. And once you take that out, it's basically ready to come out. Mine is one more. I see it down in there. The light. There's like two plugs you just got to pull off down there for your wiring connections, and then you can pull the steering shaft or column out. So that's what it takes for the column. Total time so far having this is probably about an hour. So it's not too bad. It's just awkward. Alright. Okay. Alright, now that we got the steering shaft out, like I said before, once you pull it out so far, you can get these two plugs. It's like down here, you pull them out, they just pull straight off. And these ones here, they'll be sort of on top. Get so far out, again, pull them off, and that's it. Pull that steering column out, and that's pretty much all there is to it to get your, get to your pedals, which they're basically ready to come out. Once you're down there, they're already like falling out. It's just a matter of this part here, fishing everything out. straight out. You just gotta kind of maneuver the bracket, and then that's your pedal assembly. So, turn this back on so I can see what I'm looking at. So now we've got all kinds of room, and I apparently have some rust issues here, and so that's a really awkward spot to do rust repair, but needs fixed before I can continue. So I'll be doing that next. Other than that, I'll put this here. And that's that. Next will be fixing the rust. And once I get all this stuff out of the way and the column out of the way, I unmounted my wiper motor. It's held on by these 3 little bolts. So those, and then I undid the linkage. I probably did it the more difficult way, but I was able to get these little nuts just go down on that and kind of lock it in place. I got to that through this little hole right here. So I guess you could either do that, or you could maybe get a wrench or something on this and take that nut off and then pop that off, but this worked out fine. So then next, I got some measurements. I will show you real quick. I can do it. There we go. So I got these measurements. This was offline. Forget where I got it from, but so I transferred these to that light cardboard there, and I got my holes, like a little 1/8 inch drill bit, just poked some holes in there, and then I fished these bolts through, and then once I got that mounted, I could see where I had the trim so this would lay correctly. So did that, and then I got these holes down here, drilled through those. That way, once I had this thing laying there, I went back with my paint marker and marked that hole and this one over here. And then I also, you can see I kind of made a rough idea where the bore hole is, I guess you could call it, for the the master cylinder. So I didn't think that was right at first, because it's, those bolt holes are like on an angle like that, but confirmed it because I have this is an old one that came with all the stuff. But you can see that master cylinder, when it's bolted in there, the plane of those 2 bolt holes are really like this, and then the top of that master cylinder does sit like that, so it's kind of got that weird angle. So it looks good. I'll probably get ready to drill holes soon. And I even got the bracket for this, hold the master cylinder reservoir. It looks like it might actually bolt onto the wiper motor somehow. I'll have to look at that. So that's the used stuff from the junkyard. So that'll be the next thing, is going to take these out. See how they're nice. Oh, that one didn't stay in the cardboard. I was gonna say, that's a nice thing, keeping them in the cardboard. That way they don't fly out of here, but there. So, okay. So you can see down there, there's my 2 holes. There's one little light one right here. That's where I punched a drill bit through to put the center mark for the bore hole there. So that's that. These 2 holes here, I guess that's where the support rods go for the clutch linkage. I haven't verified that yet. Yeah, it makes sense though, because these aren't really even. They're definitely kind of offset. One rod is shorter, or at least bent differently. So I'll have to look at that once I get these holes put in. In worst case scenario, I put holes in the wrong location. Well, I guess I'll just get the welder out and plug weld those holes. Okay. Okay. So, I got my holes drilled based on those measurements and that template I put out on there. And I got those drilled. Put a pilot hole for the, the bore hole. But and I got the pedal assembly test fitted in there right now. So I got, these are those support rods come through the firewall. Just got one nut on there, so just in case it wants to move. And 2 nuts on those ones. So that's the pedal assembly studs right there. They come through. So far, all that stuff lines up. Let's see, it's pretty. I'm basically in. That's how it looks. And then I got right here. I got 1 nut on that stud just to hold it in place. The other one's right there. I just have to, push it up. But I can't push it up because part of my wiring harness, the door buzzard thing, was like hanging down, so it's like sandwiched between the rod over there and the dash. So, but other than that, I mean, it fits. The template worked out great, and those measurements are pretty accurate. And all I gotta do now is, since I got it test fitted, I'm gonna rip this back out, and then I gotta patch the firewall up before I throw it in here for good. So that's it for now.